welcome to another A-Level Economics video with me, Mr Goff, from MrGoff.com. This video will focus on price determination. Equilibrium price and quantity refer to the price and quantity at which the quantity demanded exactly matches the quantity supplied. At this price, every item that is produced and brought to market will be sold, and thus the market is said to clear. In neoclassical economics, in a competitive market, we expect the price will move towards equilibrium. If we look at our supply and demand chart here, at price P1, there is a situation of oversupply. That is, there is a greater quantity Q2 being supplied than what is actually being demanded Q1. The difference will remain unsold. Stock that is left over may need to be discounted to sell it. Producers could consider hanging on to this stock if it is stock that is storable, but this would just make the oversupply situation worse in the future. At price P2, there is a situation of undersupply. More is being demanded at Q2 than is being supplied at Q1. Producers will be able to raise prices, therefore making greater profit while still selling everything they produce. It is important to note that equilibrium price and quantity is not necessarily the current market price and quantity being sold. At any point, a market may be at equilibrium or in a position of over or under supply. In addition, economists disagree about the extent to which markets move towards equilibrium. Neoclassical economists believe the profit motive for producers and utility maximization for consumers will mean that prices will trend towards equilibrium over time. However, not everyone agrees with this idea. We can use supply and demand graphs to explore the effect of changes in supply and demand. In doing so, we make use of ceteris paribus, that is, we consider one change while assuming that all other things are kept constant. We also presume that markets are competitive and that supply and demand can change independently of each other. If we start with demand at D1 and there is a left shift of demand to D2, both the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity will go down. So in neoclassical terms, we would expect a left shift of demand to lead to a lower price and a lower quantity being sold. If demand starts at D2 and there is a right shift of demand to D1, both the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity will go up. So neoclassicists would expect a right shift of demand to lead to a higher price and a greater quantity sold. If we start with supply at S1 and there is a right shift of supply to S2, the equilibrium price will go down and the equilibrium quantity will go up. So in neoclassical terms, we would expect a right shift of supply to lead to lower prices but a greater quantity sold. If we start with supply at S2 and there is a left shift of supply to S1, the equilibrium price will go up and the equilibrium quantity will go down. So neoclassicists would expect a left shift of supply to lead to higher prices and a lower quantity sold. A change of demand with an elastic supply curve or a change of supply with an elastic demand curve will have a greater effect on quantity than on price. A change of demand with an inelastic supply curve or a change of supply with an inelastic demand curve will have a greater effect on price than on quantity. The use of ceteris paribus can limit the effectiveness of this type of analysis because in reality, products are not often affected by simply one factor at a time. However, we can still make some use of supply and demand diagrams to consider concurrent effects. Let's look at the market for computer chips, where demand for chips is at an all-time high, but the shortages seen in the pandemic have led to massive investments in production capacity. The increased demand for chips will lead to a right shift of demand, which we can see will lead to higher prices and a higher quantity sold. The increased supply of chips will lead to lower prices and a higher quantity sold. By combining these, we can be confident there will be a higher quantity sold, but whether or not the price goes up or down will be dependent on the extent of the shifts in both demand and supply. That brings us to the end of this video on price determination. Join me again in the next video when I'll be looking at the price mechanism. Use the resources at mrgoff.com to help you revise economics, and until next time, it's bye for now.